Welcome to Focal Point. Colbert or Carson? You may say, what is that all about? Well, I want to focus in on something that has been in the news, has been in, and will continue to be, and it's the collapse of broadcast media and what's behind all this. Are you aware what's going on? Recently, Stephen Colbert, who is he's a Trump hater, and his show was constantly defaming and attacking. And so finally, the new owners, Skydance, more conservative, they said enough is enough. And so they said he's going to go. Well, this is happening. Do you see this? It's taking place right now. You might say, well, it doesn't matter to me. Well, you know what? I still listen to Johnny Carson and The Tonight Show. You say, what? He was a man that he had his own political perspective, but he did not let it shade what he was doing on his show. People would watch before bed, 30 million people. He was on 30 years. But then something happened. And, you had someone like Steve Allen. And then you had Johnny Carson. And he would interview people. I'll see, hey, he's interviewing Muhammad Ali, or here he is with John Lennon of the Beatles, or Paul McCartney. Here's Billy Graham. Here's Ronald Reagan. He was respectful. And it was something you could listen to. You didn't feel like tension like it's developed to today. And then Jay Leno. Jay Leno was recently asked about late night television, and he said people are turning it off because you've got 80 million people in this country who voted for Donald Trump, and you alienate them in smearing and attacking and mocking. And that is something that people are saying, I've had enough. Corporate media, and a lot of this is corrupt. You could see with 60 Minutes. I used to love 60 Minutes. I watched it all the time. But what happened to it? The bias. They ended up paying $16 million for a bias with regards to Kamala Harris in the election. And that's a lot of money. So they've kind of backed up now. What are we going to do going into our future? And you're going to see a lot of people getting the axe. Same thing you see with ABC. They're run by Disney. Disney has lost, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars because they decided, we're going to be woke. Well, go woke, you're going to go broke. And so now they're backing up. And there's people saying, watch what's going to happen with them. George Stephanopoulos, ABC, a news anchor, their big guy. Well, he ended up with their station paying $13 million in a lawsuit. And then NBC and MSNBC, people backing away. Lester Holt, a good man, he said, I don't want to do the news anymore. And folks, you can see things, the handwriting is on the wall and people have backed away. I don't know if you remember this, but when Michael Jordan was asked, is he going to endorse, would he endorse a Democrat for a particular political office? And he gave a classic office. He said, no, I'm not going to do it because Republicans, they wear athletic shoes too. And that's true. If you got 80-some million people that voted for Donald Trump, and then you're blasting and smearing and you're bringing guests on that are constantly attacking, you're losing an audience. So welcome Stephen Colbert to reality. And so there's a time of upheaval. And we're recognizing that the media has been going in a wrong way. And you see a very few of the conservatives on late night TV. And you also see the bias of disparaging conservatives. And that's going to have implications for primaries and elections. And so people today say, I've had enough of this. Now for me, I tape shows. I don't want to watch all kinds of commercials, even when there's a Super Bowl, whatever it is. I don't mind waiting an hour. I tape it, and instead of 1/4 maybe or 1/3 of commercials, and some that can be very ridiculous, I can fast forward over and watch all the key elements of that. So we're living in a day where we need to be discerning. And we can't be swept. You say, what about Jimmy Kimmel? Well, he started out pretty good, but then I don't know what happened. And then we say Jimmy Fallon. Well, Jimmy tries to be a little more in the middle. But you know what? We're living in a time where we have to be discerning. The corrupt media is going down. Look at the ratings. Look at the few viewers on many of these shows. Watch what will happen with The View. I promise you, you're going to see changes. And we have more conservatives moving in, plus God is awakening us. Be awakened and be discerning. We're seeing the collapse of corporate media, and may it be a new day with godly individuals leading the way.
Hey friends, if you felt this video was helpful, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified once new videos become available. Thanks.